Hey, don't turn it off yet. Here's what's coming up on the Nice Guys on Business.
And it's not that I'm not picking a side. It's that I see the validity in both, and I see the value of both, and I see the flaws in both. And that's, I think, been a real gift that I've really begun to embrace as a coach and as somebody that's mediating conversations, that I sit there and go, there's validity here and there's validity here. Now, where are we going to come together to make sure you can see that? Because I see it. And so I think that's something that I have grown into, that I've really learned to appreciate.
In a court ruling U.S. versus Fishbein, a man subjected to potential incineration while wearing another man's suit is entitled to $10,000 worth of airline tickets. It's an obscure ruling, but a very important one to the Nice Guys on Business. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by TurnKey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
All right, Nice Guy community. On today's episode, I'm excited to welcome Skot Waldron. Now, he's a seasoned expert in communication, culture, and brand development, plus a super nice guy and an amazing host of the Unlocked podcast, of which I have been a guest. You know, what's that expression? I don't know that I'd want to listen to any. I don't think I want to be a member of any group, that club that would have me a member. Anyway, I've actually listened to the podcast. I was very surprised he wanted me on because, frankly, I down leveled his guest count. Anyway,
No way.
Yeah,
no way, Doug.
way. That's okay. I appreciate it. Hey, look, after 1,500 episodes, if I can't razz myself, then I don't know what I can do. Scott's got an impressive track record spanning 2 decades, and he's provided his expertise to household brands like JP Morgan Chase, Georgia Tech, the Home Depot, Coca-Cola, small brands like that, crafting communication programs, and his philosophy centers around the pivotal role of communication in catalyzing personal and organizational transformation. I'm excited to chat with him. Skot, welcome to the Nice Guys.
Here we are. I'm so glad to be here and be called a nice guy with you. So that's cool.
And you are a nice guy. And that's, I forget how we originally came together, but when I first connected with you in that first call, whether it was the interview or maybe we even had a prelim call, I can't recall, you were just a nice guy. And I'm like, I want this nice guy on my show and I want to be on his show. And this is a guy like I could be friends with. Except you're in Atlanta where gas is like $3 a gallon and you can't relate to $6.50 a gallon.
I can't move anywhere else. I said once people move to Atlanta, you realize that you can't ever go out of Atlanta because you can't afford anything. So everybody comes here and they go, gosh, everything's so cheap. I can afford this. I was like, okay, but you're going to get stuck because then you can't afford anything else anywhere else. So
well, there was the my ex-brother-in-law. I know it's a weird thing here, but my ex-brother-in-law, he had this McMansion. I mean, it had to be probably 4,500 square feet in a lot of land in a beautiful neighborhood, $350,000 for this property. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can't even get an outhouse. I mean, I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I'm saying that in a jealous way. I'm like, God, if property values could just be that in California, well, it would be more crowded than it is, and gas would probably even be more expensive than it is.
Probably. Yeah. Good luck with that. So we are going a little bit up. We're it's getting iffy around here. So.
All right. So your journey has taken you through all of these like name brands, and that's pretty cool. Now, some people say that these are the brands that they have worked with, and then you discover they were part of like a, like a mutual fund that they had like 0.00001%, but you actually worked with these brands big time. So can you maybe just share a little bit about how those brands and you came together and what you did for them?
How did we come together? Well, most of them, and I will say this as an entrepreneur and as somebody who's been in the brand and marketing space for 20 plus years, but now transitioning to more culture development and doing internal communication. But I get the world and I've done it all, Doug, as far as marketing's concerned. And I've been there and I've coached on it and I've consulted people on it. And I don't do as much of it anymore, but I live it now because I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah. Like all the other people out there. They're probably listening to the show. And here's the thing is that it's always relationships. That's how we came together, man. relationships. And that's how I think you and I came together. And I don't want to downplay the relationship thing ever. And I know a lot of people don't, but I'm going to overemphasize, don't downplay the relationships. And so that's how those relationships actually came together, and those opportunities. It was really great.
Well, and I wrote this book back in 2014, came out in 2015. It's called Nice Guys Finish First. And the tagline from it was winning business through winning relationships. And it totally is about, I discovered that if you do really three good things, if you tell the truth, if you are on time every time, and you return your communication, return emails, voicemails, whatever it is, I find that you can pretty much be successful no matter what you do. So let me throw it to you. Unlock success for me, Scott, as it pertains to your life. They say that success leaves clues. So what are some of the clues that maybe you have found, and maybe even you've left behind, so other people can be successful in your path behind you?
I think one of the biggest clues is at some point you really need to become self-aware. I mean, you could probably get away with not being very self-aware at the beginning of your career and kind of launching into whatever you're doing. But at some point in your life, you were either going to excel and build more influence with people, or you're going to suck as a human and nobody's going to want to hang out with you, because it's going to be like, okay, dude, you're 45 and you have no idea who you are, and you burn bridges, and you like, it's that person. Yeah. And I think that we've been around that person, and it's just like, we need to get it together. And that's going to be the foundational element. And I had my awakening at some point, and I was like, oh man, like, I'm a nice guy. Like you said, I'm a nice guy. I've always kind of been a nice guy. But then I was like, oh, but I'm not very good at communicating sometimes. Like, I think I can be frustrating sometimes. And it hit me. And I've worked on that quite a bit and continue to work on it. We never graduate from the school of self-awareness.
No. The under construction sign is always above my head, because it's like always. I seem like I'm always, and as many lessons as you've learned, you're like, what the hell? I just learned another lesson from another client. Like, hey, everybody that has a checkbook does not become, have right to become a client. It took me, I'm 59. It took me probably 56 years of career now, legitimately, since I've been working since I was 13. So it's probably taken me 40 years of career to realize that everybody with a checkbook does not have the option to become a client. Although I would kind of let that be my controlling guide. And I don't know, is anything like that, like this epiphany? I know you're a big fan of aha moments, but has the epiphany ever happened to you like that, where you said, shit, this just isn't the reality of where a career should be going with this checkbook thing?
Yeah, I think it hit me as I was just doing the hustle for so long. And a lot of us that become entrepreneurs, we start out as a maker. We start out as a producer, as a content creator, as a whatever, and we're doing that. And then we grow into a management role. We grow either inside of a company, or we grow a business, and we start getting employees accidentally because we're getting business. And then we start having to manage them. And then we have this aha moment of either, I really like this whole leadership thing. I like managing people. This is kind of a sweet spot for me. Or, gosh, I really loved designing those brochures, and I don't ever get to do that anymore. And oh man, I love building that thing, and I don't get to do that anymore. And then you're just managing people, but you're jealous and like kind of not happy because you're not doing the thing you love. You're doing something that you grew into accidentally, and now you're just there. And so you really need to be, I think intentionality is where I'm getting at with all this, is how are we being more intentional about where we go?
No, and I love that. And I think that, and I share this with my community all the time. Nice Guy community, just put me on hold for a second or fast forward for the next 10 seconds. I talk to my partner Strickland all the time about staying in our zone of genius. And if we get outside of our zone of genius, the issue is not only do we not like what we're doing, but it probably takes us a little bit more effort to do it, which creates that, here's an untruth. The untruth is hard work equals more success. And I don't think that that's the case. I think that when I was early on in my career, working 80 hours a week would be just a natural thing for me, because I'm like, shit, I just got to stay on this treadmill and just keep my head down. Because my dad used to tell me, keep your head down and just keep working. And I don't think he meant keep working harder. I just think he meant just stay in your lane and focus. But I was interpreting that as work your ass off. And at some point you'll be able to lift your head up and stop. Tim Ferriss's 4-hour work week. Right now, we're at about a 15-hour work week, my partner and I, each of us, to run a business that's doing really well. And so I'm looking forward to getting to that 4-hour work week. What is the untruth that maybe you told yourself early on in your life that you don't have to tell yourself anymore because you realize it was a myth? It's not, for me, more work equals more success.
I think it is this notion, this idea that we need to care or not care about what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this thing we learn as kids from our parents who want to protect us. We come home and Jenny doesn't like my backpack because it's the wrong color. And Billy says my shoes are stupid. And, Chris thinks I'm slow at math. And I'm coming home and I'm feeling bad. And my parents, they sit down, they look at me in the eye and they go, it doesn't matter what Billy thinks. It matters what you think. And I go, cool. Okay. And I've said it to my kids.
Right.
And I kind of, there's some truth in that. Don't get me wrong. It does matter what we think of ourselves more than what other people think of us, but it does matter what other people think of us. That is called brand perception. That's where I've come from in my world, but that's where I am now with coaching leaders and teams, is like, what do people think about you when you're not around? When you go home at night, mm-hmm. What are you saying about your boss? What are you saying about the people you work with? What are you saying at the barbecue when people are like, hey, I'm looking for a job? Are you talking about your place of work as somewhere people would want to come work? Are you recruiting for them? Or are you like, ooh, you don't want to come to my place? My boss is a jerk, and like that is, so it does matter what other people think of you. And that whole mantra of it doesn't matter what people think, just you be you, do whatever you want. And don't worry about what other people think. I'm kind of like, yeah, we need to, throw caution in the wind on that one.
Tell me about legacy a little bit. What do you hope that people, you said, you were talking about this to a degree, and I thought you were going to turn the corner and think about, this is what I want to be known for. What is that legacy that you want to, again, this is such an esoteric, like out there question, but the reality of it is that we all try to achieve certain things so that we can build this reputation. If anybody were to ever say, I was not on time, or I didn't tell the truth, or I wasn't fair, or I wasn't a nice guy, I would say, well, they don't fucking know me, because, I love when the agency that I used to be represented by in my DJ and entertainment business, if somebody were to call and say, hey, look, I've called Doug 3 times and he hasn't called me back, they're like, well, you don't have the right number, because there is no way that you called Doug 3 times and he didn't call you back. What is that thing that you want to be known for down the road in 100 years when you're no longer, at the place of business or on this earth any longer?
I think one of the things, and I will say the biggest thing, is that I just want to be a nice guy. Doug, brought to you by the Nice Guy podcast. I'm just kidding.
That's cool. I'll sponsor your life.
Okay, that's cool. No, I think honestly, when I look back at the things and you look at this and you think about what people are just hustling so hard to do right now, and you're going, really? Like, when you're on your deathbed, are you going to be like, I ran the best meetings? I ran like really effective meetings. They were on point. We got in and out. We were productive. Or my spreadsheets were so clean. What, have you seen my spreadsheets? Nobody's going to talk about that. And it's that legacy that we all want to leave of, Skot was the kind of guy who blank. Doug was the kind of guy who blank. Like, that's that legacy piece. I think for me, it's Skot was the kind of guy that, like, you can depend on. He keeps his word. Even when it's not great for him, he kind of, will do for you. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to work towards that, because I don't always feel like I am that person.
Well,
Because
that's good.
sometimes when I'm in convenience, Doug, I'm just like, do I really have to go help you move? But it's I want to, that's kind of what I'm working towards. And I think there's elements of me that I'm proud of that are that, but there's always a little work under construction, Doug.
All right. Well, I want to talk about this for just a quick second, because this is one of those areas where, you get somebody in a call, it's hard for them to say good things about themselves. And I know it's even more challenging when you might have an audience that's listening to you, but here is an opportunity. If you were to share with the world out there, what is that gift that you have? Like, this is the thing that's kind of been your North Star, your guiding light, the things that come easiest to you that don't come easy to people as it relates to your professional existence out there. What is your gift, do you think?
Oh man, my gift. I think that there's something that I used to struggle with a lot with me. Because I'm a fence sitter, Doug. I sit on the fence and I've got one leg in one yard and another leg in the other yard.
All right. It's a conservative. That's fine.
and I sit there and I get criticized by, I'll just say, let's say the political parties that I affiliate with on one side or the other will accuse me of fence sitting and not picking a side. And why am I appeasing that audience and that? And it's not that I'm not picking a side. It's that I see the validity in both, and I see the value of both, and I see the flaws in both. And that's, I think, been a real gift that I've really begun to embrace as a coach and as somebody that's mediating conversations, that I sit there and go, there's validity here and there's validity here. Now, where are we going to come together to make sure you can see that? Because I see it. And so I think that's something that I have grown into, that I've really learned to appreciate.
Well, one of the things that you share on your website, and I think that there's a lot in communication and building culture and building awareness, is the ability to be that fence sitter, which some people might look at and like say, well, he can't make a decision. Well, that's not the reality of what a fence sitter potentially could be. Maybe a fence sitter is someone that can subjectively look at both sides of the coin and not be upset, even if he's leaning more towards one way, he can see both sides. So that's really a part of what you do this is what you're providing to the world as your service. So maybe just spend just a moment just talking about what you do when you go into an organization, whether it's a small organization of one, and just getting people to understand a little bit better about how to build culture within their company, company being them and their clients, or a large organization that might have many employees in it. So maybe just share a little bit about that.
Sure. I love going in and ultimately enabling people to be who they were designed to be. I don't think we have permission to be us as much as we would like to. We don't have the freedom to be us. Mm-hmm. And that's why my podcast is called Unlocked with Skot Waldron. It's all about unlocking our potential, but it's about not feeling caged in by my boss, by my spouse, by myself. It's how are we if we're able to have permission to be ourselves, how much more free and liberated will we feel? I don't have to walk around guarded and tiptoeing and wondering if I just offended somebody, or wondering if I'm going to say the right thing. And like, I could just be who I am, strengths, challenges, and all of it. Because I recognize it as a gift. All of it's a gift. And I recognize your gifts, and I recognize that they're not mine, but my gifts are also not yours.
Right.
So when we go into organizations, I like to go in and, number one, build better communication, help people learn to just communicate better, then build trust through that communication, build alignment within teams, help people execute better, and increase capacity overall. There's a capacity problem, and people are just like, give me more money, give me more time, give me more people. And I say, hold up. Organizations I talk to, and we've talked to lots and lots and lots of them, are operating about a 58% capacity. And I'm like, hold on, you want more money, time, and people so you can squander almost half of it?
Right.
No. Why don't we do more with what you have now? Why don't we do more? What if we can increase that 10%?
Yeah.
What does that mean for your bottom line? We don't need more people, more time, or more money. Let's just be more efficient with what we have. Gas mileage. Let's get better gas mileage out of our people, Doug.
Take me back to sixth grade. Let's turn a corner here. And oh, by the way, before we leave this subject, I want you to share, if somebody's in our community and they want to get, I know you have a special link that you want to provide. I forget the link, so maybe you have it right in front of you. Tell me what we want to share with people and where they can go to get it.
Just go to skotwaldron.com/nice guys. So that's SKOTWALDRON.com/nice guys. And I've got some free freebies for your audience, just for you, just for the show.
Cool. And you actually made the segue really easy for me, because I was going to take you back to sixth grade for just a quick second and talk about the unique spelling of your first name. I think I might have shared on your show. I came up with my signature and like this little design in sixth grade or seventh grade, probably somewhere in there. And you came up with a new spelling for your name with the K instead of with a COTT. So share why you did that.
Well, you set me up. So I was in Scott Woodruff and Scott Wilson's class every year in elementary school. So I couldn't even put Scott W on my paper. I had to put Skot Waldron on all my papers, like the full last name and everything. And it was just like, this is ridiculous. In sixth grade, who's in my class again? Scott Wilson, Scott Woodruff. So I said, no more. I'm going to start spelling it SKOT. And I never had to put my last name on anything ever again. And being the artsy fartsy kid I was growing up, I just stuck and I got to hold on to it. It's kind of like Prince. Next, I'm going to go to a symbol, and it's just going to be a symbol. Did your teachers, did people accept that? Did they, because I know like a lot of times when my girlfriend has a different first name than her nickname, which is JJ. But she uses JJ. She doesn't even reference her parent given name. But at the same time, the teachers used to get mad at her when they wouldn't let her use her nickname. Did anybody give you the pushback like that? That is so sad. That's why I'm trying to give people permission to be themselves, Doug. No, I'm just saying,
crazy.
Everybody has embraced it except my mom.
Really?
She spells SCOTT. And she even puts IE on the last on all my birthday cards. So, Scotty is on there. So she's everybody's fine with it. It's just become my thing after, that long. The other thing that it caused problems with when people are booking travel for me, that's another issue. Or when I called the hospital this morning I need to get a scan done. And I called the hospital and she's like, I got 2 records here. One where it looks like they spelled your name wrong, and then another one. And I was like, oh yeah. So I have to explain it to them. And then she's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So,
yeah, I was going to say legally, you probably have to do a lot of explaining unless you had it legally changed to the K.
I did not. I don't make that much effort, Doug. I just
yeah. How often? Well, when you go to motor vehicle or when it's one thing that SKOT and SCOTT are both pronounced the same way. It's another thing when you start to have to spell it on legal documents and people just want to give you a hard time. Like, what's on your credit cards? Is it SK?
Oh, no. All legally, everything is SCOTT because nobody, it doesn't matter. Right.
So yeah, I know. I'm with you. I'm with you. But it is uniquely you. It is definitely
it is all me. I have full permission to be me. I'm gonna spell it SKOT. I'm just gonna do my thing, Doug.
So before we move out and move on to our next guest, which is nowhere near is going to be as important as you, but I say that to all the guests just so you know that. So tell me, you live in Atlanta. It sounds like you have a couple kids.
I have 2 awesome kids, 11 and 13, 11-year-olds, almost 12 years. So yeah.
Also, only married once, or have you had multiple marriages like me?
Oh, I'm still working on getting the first one right. I'm not a pro yet at this whole marriage thing. I know that you mastered the first one, so you're on to
or I screwed up the first one so bad that the second one got a lot of the spillover, and I screwed that one up.
Is that what it's called? The spillover?
Yeah, God, my starter marriage was my second marriage. First one lasted 20 years, but the second one I only got 2.5 in. So I'm trying to figure out, is a third one really in the cards? I've been with my girlfriend JJ for almost 6 years now, and it's just pulling the trigger. It's just doing it. I know it's going to happen. It's just and I want it to be special though. I don't want it just to be I'm stepping into a third marriage, because my kids are going to be so pissed at me if I do it wrong, because they really like her.
Don't make the kids mad. It's all about the kids. Don't worry about JJ. Don't worry about you. Worry about the kids. What do the kids want?
All right. Well, that is good. That is good to know.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind as I'm making that grand decision.
Yeah.
Scott, brother, I really appreciate you sharing your magic on our show today. Any final words of wisdom you want to share with our community that's out there of entrepreneurs?
No, I mean, I said no. I hate when people do that. When they go,
no,
no,
and then
blah,
yes.
blah, blah, you know? Or when people say, yeah, no, they say, yeah, no, the yeah, no.
Or it's even worse when they have the same exact, it was like, you've said this like 16,000 times before. I don't have any extra advice for you. You know what? Don't fuck up. That's totally my advice to the world out there.
That's bad. I want people to stop worrying about becoming great. I want them to worry about unlocking that greatness that's already in them, because it's already there, Doug, for people, and they just have to get it out. It's just like, you've already been given the stuff. Just use it, and it's there already. So, stop searching for something when it's already there.
We'll put a link in the show notes, because Scott has had some great conversations. The last few episodes included Gene Hammett, Andy Pillane, Justin Ponder, Dr. Peter Stipelman, whole bunch of really, it looks like a number of these guests. Have you been taking my guest list? Because I've had a number of these people on my show already. What the hell?
I do. I just go to your guest list and I just start looking for all these people.
I'll make the intros for you if you want me to.
Dang it. That would save me a lot. Relationships, right?
I know.
Relationships.
It's all about relationships. Jeez. Well, Scott, thanks for being on the show, sharing your expertise and your wisdom with my community. Thanks for being here.
All right, pal. Thanks.
Hey, nice guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice. Go to unlock your true potential. Get off of this show and go listen to Unlocked. I'm telling you, it's a lot more value, and it's compacted because it's in like 32 episodes. You have to weed through like 1,500 episodes to find 32 good ones of mine. Every one of Scott's is good. Just go there. The link is right in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
If you're hearing my voice right now, you obviously enjoyed the podcast. So why not help the guys out? Click on the Patreon link in the show notes, and for as little as $2 a month, you can show your support. Or show us whatever you want.